Welcome to Calabash Community, and in focus today is St. Lucian chef Denis Rosembert, owner of the Chez Denis restaurant in London. In this segment, Chef Denis talks about the challenges he has had in preparing Caribbean dishes and focuses on the book Taste of the French Caribbean.
It was not as easy as what it is now, because a lot of the products you wouldn't be able to find in Norfolk at the time. So I had to drive to London, right, which is about 120 miles, and buy everything I need for the week, right? And then when I need some more, then I drive early in the 3 o'clock in the morning, I drive down there and I collect what I even used to go to the fish market myself to get things like barracuda, tilapia, red snapper, all these things that you have to actually create, because if you have an authentic restaurant, you must have the authentic ingredients to actually follow through. Otherwise, it cannot be done, right? And this is why this book, right, has the ingredients which I use, which you can obtain from here, right? Which makes it easy access, because imagine when I want breadfruit, right? I get it from London and it says from St. Lucia, right? It makes me feel so good, right? Golden apples from St. Lucia. And this is what I like, the authenticity of the food that I use.
Now, what inspired Taste of the French Caribbean? When you sat down to put this book together, what was the inspiration?
Right, the inspiration was, I'm getting on a bit now, I'm not going to live forever, right? And people have been asking me, right, for recipes for the longest while.
Really?
Oh, longest while. And I said to myself, why don't I sit down and get it out of my brain? Everything that you see there came from my head. It's as if you dictate, right? And it's typed.
Wow.
Because everything that I've done has been made, and I've used it. So it's my clientele that actually made me think about writing the book, and then sell it to them, because what happened is that they've bought it in quantities, because the night of my launch in England, I sold 110 copies.
Wow.
Right? And I raised 1,250 pounds for the Sickle Cell Society, because that's a charity which is close to my heart, because my wife's brother had sickle cell, and I know the difficulty it is for kids, especially kids, to have this kind of thing, right? And you know, he didn't live very long, you know, and it's rife in the Caribbean, Afro-Caribbean community and Africans. So I decided to actually donate, and people are still donating.
That's good.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's good.
You know? Yeah, so it's inspired by, obviously, my grandmother, right, what I thought of her, right, what she taught me, right? And this is why in the book, right, she's mentioned. And as I said, right, you know, my clientele, and I had to get it off my head, because, as I said, I'm not going to be here forever.
Two things. When I opened the book, first thing I looked for, as a vegetarian, I looked for the vegetarian section.
Yeah,
and obviously, so you're catering for all culinary tastes, all dietary needs, requirements as well.
Yeah, because I actually cater for celiacs, which are gluten-free. But the thing about gluten-free is that a lot of people are very ignorant about it. They think it's just flour, but it's not. Gluten goes malt vinegar, gluten. The beer that you drink is gluten, right? So when you come to think about all these different things, right, that you must not have, and you have it and you get ill, you don't think to yourself, why am I ill? Because you've drunk a few bottles of beer, right? But they have gluten-free beer.
Oh, really?
Yes. Whatever that you can get normal, I would say, you could get it gluten-free. Gluten-free soy sauce, gluten-free Worcester sauce. So that's what I use, you know? So people come from Southampton, for instance. Southampton is about 250 miles away from where I live. They come to my restaurant to eat, because they know when they eat at my restaurant, they will not be ill, because I actually make everything. Nothing is bought in as prepared like a factory.
Right.
I prepare everything from scratch. And this is why the people come and eat.
And that includes your sauces as well?
My sauces as well. My sauce is gluten-free.
Now, the second thing I noticed when I opened the book is it's very St. Lucian in terms of images.
Yes.
Because on the front you can see what looks like one of the pitons, at the back is the pitons, and there are flags right to the book. I suppose that was deliberate.
That was deliberate, because I did not want this book to be classed as Caribbean, so to speak, right? Because you know and I know, like, Caribbean is a vast array of different cultures via the colonization, right? If you are in the British Islands, where the British colonized, the foods are limited. If you are in Spanish, you'll find paella and a few other things. The Dutch, forget it, right? But when you come to the French Caribbean, the rate of cooking that we have, the vast amount, because as you know, the French culinary art is what everybody learns.
Right.
So we can modify whatever they do, because some of the spices, right, they couldn't actually get as easily as we get here. So we had to actually accommodate this kind of cooking.
You're watching Calabash Community. Chef Denis is still here with us. And when he comes back, we will get to see the house where Chef Denis spent time learning to cook from his grandmother, and also see the chef in action as he prepares a vegetarian meal. Stay tuned.